Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know I've been away for a while, but I went on vacation and I tried to edit the video, but I just couldn't do it. But I'm here back again, and we're gonna be going over the mid-season review for the Premier League because, as y'all remember, I made a prediction video about the beginning of the season in August about the Premier League, the La Liga, the Bundesliga, and the Serie A. And today, this video, I'm gonna be going over the my predictions for the Premier League, and eventually I'll make a video on the La Liga and then a video on Serie A and Bundesliga together. So let's go ahead and start with a bit of a refresher on what I predicted that was gonna happen by the end of the season, not the middle of the season, the end of the season. I predicted Arsenal to come out first, City second, Villa third, Manchester United fourth. I don't know what I was thinking. Liverpool fifth. Oh my gosh, what in the world? And Tottenham sixth. And just by looking at that, I can tell that so far I've gotten a lot of these predictions completely wrong, and I really need to revise it. So let's go ahead and start from down up. I had Tottenham in sixth. However, as of now, as of the recording of this video, they are in 12th place, six positions away from sixth place, and they have only won 7 of their last 20 games. They have lost 10 games. Wow, that is extremely bad for this Tottenham team that last season, by this mid-season, I believe they were first or second. They're battling for the title, but we all knew that they were gonna spruce it up. And Ange Postecoglou is just in deep trouble because he just can't keep losing this. And yesterday, no, 2 days ago, they just beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, which gives Ange a little bit of life because they had been going on a losing streak up until yesterday that they beat Liverpool. However, it's the Carabao Cup. It's not the Premier League or something like that. You don't get points. But it gives Ange a bit of life, you know. And you can tell the managers, I mean the higher ups at Tottenham, trust Ange Postecoglou to take this team to a higher level. But I don't know if it's so tough to get Spurs to get to that high level, because I think it's the mentality very similar to what United is going on. They just don't believe that they can be up there, which is sad because it's a top 6 club, even though they've never won any silverware. It's a top six club with players that we all love, like Son, like Harry Kane at some point was there, Gareth Bale, uh, Lloris, these incredible players that play there, and they've never won anything with Tottenham. But yeah, I just don't think they'll even end up in top 6, which is very sad. Now we go on to the team that I put 5th to finish this season, Liverpool. I believe it's safe to assume that they will not finish 5th or anywhere near 5th. They are currently in 1st, and they are by far the best team in the world. I mean, they have only lost 2 games, one being the Carabao Cup, which do you really count? The other one being the Nottingham Forest. They haven't lost a single game in the Champions League, and they have faced Real Madrid and AC Milan. They faced these really strong teams, and they seem to not be shaken up. Not only that, but they're not only the best team in the world, but they also have the best player in the world right now, Mohamed Salah. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible. He scored 18 goals and had 13 assists in 19 Premier League games. That is absolutely insane. I mean, this guy is averaging more than pretty much a goal or an assist every single game. It's absolutely insane how this guy is just continue to wreck it at 32 years old. And to think that I had friends that thought that Lamine Yamal was this guy's level is absolutely insane. I told him that Salah, he's severely underrated, but they kept saying that Lamine Yamal was his level. But I think we are seeing how good he is and how even last season, how under the radar this guy has been for the past years. And as I said, they did lose against Tottenham recently in the Carabao Cup, but it's just the Carabao Cup, so I don't really consider that a loss. But you have seen against the United game where they tied 2-2 and games like that, that it seems like they are taking it for granted. They're taking it because they are 6 points, potentially 9 points above second place, which is Arsenal. So I feel like they're starting to take things for granted, not really taking it seriously. And they're starting to flop quite a bit. They should have beat Manchester United. Let's be honest. Manchester United played well, but Liverpool also played very poorly to the Liverpool standards. And it just seems like they are slacking off. Hopefully, this doesn't end up in them losing the title, but they gotta realize that the season is long. They can still end up in third place even if City just ramps up. So I still see them finishing first, but they better they better step it up even more than what they've been doing right now, because it's Champions League knockout stages and the latter end of the Premier League. So they gotta step it up this last 6 months. And the next team that I had in fourth place is Manchester United. Yep, Manchester United, that are currently in 13th place. These guys just sacked Ten Hag in, I believe it was November, and they brought in Ruben Amorim, and nobody expected this team to just get incredibly better with Ruben Amorim. But this is a shambles. This team is disgustingly divided. I mean, the whole Garnacho situation, where apparently he tried to frame Amad Diallo, he tried to frame, he tried to throw a bunch of shade onto Manchester United and the manager for not playing him. This is disgusting. I mean, this whole team is a shambles, and I don't know what this team is gonna do, because it's it hasn't been the manager. At the same time, we can't expect Ruben Amorim to fix this like that. It's impossible, especially when they're playing a completely different style of football. But you just realize how many players have to go and how many players you have to bring in for this team to actually become functional, which it's quite a lot. I mean, Casemiro, Anthony, Ericsson, Ian Maguire to an extent. You need a left back. Garnacho has to go. I mean, it's truly a disaster of a club, which is very sad. Hopefully, Ruben Amorim is the manager, and in a couple years, couple seasons, we're gonna be seeing the old Manchester United that we used to see, that would just dominate or at least compete for the Premier League. Due to all the drama, due to everything surrounding them, all the changes that have happened in the last month or week even, I don't see them finishing in the top six, which is fine. It's Manchester United. You've grown to expect that from them at this point. Next team that I had was Aston Villa, who I had them in third place. I don't know what I was thinking. As of now, they are in 8th place and they have 32 points. They're not off. They're just 8 points off of Nottingham Forest and Arsenal, who are in second and third place, tied with points. So it's not bad. They can still get there. But it's just, you can see how difficult it is to balance the Champions League and the Premier League, especially now that they potentially might be going onto the knockout stages. It would be interesting to see how they manage to balance that out, because it's going to be a lot of high intensity, high value games that are going to be going back to back. And surprisingly, they are doing pretty good in the Champions League. I mean, they're up there in the automatic qualifications in 5th place with 6 points. So if they keep it up like that, they might be able to skip one of the knockoff stages and go straight into the automatic qualifications, which would be good for an Aston Villa who is also fighting really hard in the Premier League to gain a spot in the top 4, top 5 places. And so after this, I do expect them to finish at fifth place. Sadly, I wish they could be a team that could stay in the top four, and I still hope that because it would be nice to see a different face just continue to cement itself in the top four. But I think they're gonna finish in fifth place, similar to what happened to Newcastle last season. And in second, well, who I had in second place was Manchester City, who are currently in sixth place. Who would imagine? I mean, these guys have had an absolutely insanely bad season. They lost Roger early on in the season, and from then on, they've been on an incredibly bad losing streak. But recently, they've won back-to-back games after losing or drawing 10 games in a row. It was really, really bad, horrendously bad. And throughout that whole time, Guardiola seemed to be lost. He seemed to be just out of it. But to me, as a fan of football, I felt like he needed this. We needed this because throughout his career, he's always been like this kind of robotic, this kind of like NPC-ish manager who doesn't. He's always just living life, and he's just always successful. And it was like, bro, you need something to give you character, and this is giving him a lot of character. I mean, just the way you see him in the press conferences. I don't know if he's okay though, if he's just consistently scratching his head and just hurting himself at this point. But it gives him character. It gives him that Mourinho type stuff. You know, it gives him a personality that I had never seen from Guardiola. So even though all of this has happened, I still think City will end up in third place and maybe even push for the title. I don't know. City, it's not a team that's just going through this right now. It's the first season that we see them doing this. This happened 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, and I believe last season as well, where they just picked it up. And of course, this is a massive point gap that they have to make up. It's pretty much 12 points that they have to make up, but we've seen them make up 11 points to Arsenal. So I don't know. I think they can at least finish third. I really think so because they obviously have a track record of winning Premier League, so that counts a lot for them. And lastly, I had Arsenal finishing first. As it stands, they are currently in second place and are 6 points behind Liverpool, but Liverpool have one game in hand, so they could be even 9 points behind Liverpool. At the beginning of the season, Arsenal was hit with a variety of injuries to their attacking players, and it led them to just draw a lot of games and lose a lot of games. And now they're back, but they seem to continue to be playing that boring, just FIFA FC25, FC24 type over love ball and set piece games with Saliba and all these gigantic players that they have. It's very boring to see them now, but I think that as Martin Odegaard and Saka continue to play together and try to build that chemistry that they had before the injuries and everything, we're gonna start seeing that Arsenal that played absolutely incredible football that we were accustomed to. So for that reason, for all of those, I am not worried about Arsenal one bit, even if they don't win the Premier League. I think Arteta's a great manager to continue building upon because this is not it's been a 5-year process of a horrendous team, Manchester United level team, that is taking quite a bit of time of just up and up and up, and you're gonna have some setbacks like it is this season, but they're gonna have a season like that. And of course, you would wish that this was the season since City is just out of it, but it's not, and it's fine. It's just a small setback, and maybe next season they can win the Premier League, or maybe even this season if they pick it up. So I expect them to finish in second place. Alright, I'm gonna touch upon Newcastle, Chelsea, and Nottingham Forest, who are teams that I didn't have in my predictions, but are currently in the top 6, doing incredibly well. For example, Newcastle, who had a very shaky start to the season, who played well against the big teams, the Cities, the Liverpools, the even the Chelseas, the Arsenals. They played well against them, but against the smaller teams that they were supposed to win, they would always lose or draw them and drop points there. However, they've been on a pretty good form recently. They have won 7 games in a row, and who knows, they're not far off from second place, just 5 points away from Arsenal. And if they continue to keep consistent, they can break into that top 4. As of now, they're in 5th place, but I think they can finish in 4th place if they continue this form. Next up is Chelsea. Chelsea, who I did not expect to be here at all. I think I had them I didn't even have them in the top 6. They have had an incredibly good start to the season. I mean, these guys have been winning with a bunch of goals, outscoring their opponents, but same issue persists as I touched on a couple videos ago when I was talking about Chelsea, where it seems like they depend a lot on scoring more than the other team. They're not the best defensively, but attacking wise, they're incredibly good. I mean, with that young pace and talent, they don't get tired. With Cole Palmer in a good form of game, continue to storm through the Premier League. And they were doing very well up until recently, where they have hit like kind of like a plateau, where they have lost twice and drawn twice in the last 4 games, which could be a worrying sign. But I mean, nobody expected Chelsea to even be in the top 4 at any point of the season. So this is, even if they don't finish in the top 6, I think it's a pretty successful season for such a young team, for this brand new manager that they brought in. So for that reason, I think a 6th place is not a bad place to finish at, which is where I would put them. And lastly, we have Nottingham Forest, who are having an insanely good season. I mean, these guys are tied in points with Arsenal and are 6 points or 9 points behind Liverpool. And they are currently in 3rd place. They are also a pretty young team with a brand new manager. But even though they're doing so well, I don't think they're going to finish top 4, because we know what City can do. Newcastle has been there already. Arsenal is not coming out of the top 4, and Liverpool is winning it. So I don't think they're going to be in top 4. And then from 5th to 6th, I still believe first of all, Aston Villa is just 8 points away from them, which is quite a bit, but Aston Villa can probably pull through. I would put Aston Villa in the top 6, in 5th or 6th. And Chelsea, I don't think they're gonna. I think if they drop, maybe Chelsea would be the team that would end up in 7th or below, and Nottingham Forest could end up 6th. But I just don't think Nottingham Forest is gonna finish in the top 4, and I just have them out of the top 6 by pretty much a minuscule bit. You could flip-flop between them and Chelsea. So my revised predictions for how I think the Premier League is going to finish off is going to be Liverpool in 1st, Arsenal in 2nd, City in 3rd. I think it's going to become a title race. Liverpool are going to slack off. I mean, it's a new manager. Newcastle in 4th, Aston Villa in 5th, because I think Newcastle has been in this position before and they're not playing Champions League football. So they're going to cling on to reaching that Champions League football and finish in 4th. Aston Villa in 5th. I think they still have the quality in that team to finish in 5th. They're just really, really good. And Chelsea in 6th place. So that's my revised prediction, guys, for the Premier League and the mid-season review. I hope you guys enjoyed. As I said, I'll make another video about La Liga and Serie A and Bundesliga, just to recap on that as well. And I hope y'all guys enjoyed, and see y'all next time.